Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Thank you again for stopping by to view my video. In my last video, I went over Kinect Orion, and basically I did a little demo of how that really works and the results you can get from that. In my second follow-up video, I was going to go over Brekel Openvr using the HTC Vive, and I was kind of going to go through setting that up and the results, basically what you can get from that, the same as I did with Kinect Orion. And in that video, I kind of was going back and forth between comparing the price and performance from using the HTC Vive compared to using the Kinect 360 and the Kinect One for the Xbox One using IPi Soft. And I was kind of going over the pricing for that. And at the time of that recording, IPi Soft was using a rental-based system. Just when I was about to release that video for IPi Soft, they decided to come out with version 4 of their software, with a lot of new features and updates and quality control. But the biggest thing is the perpetual license. So basically, now IPi Soft has went away with the rental system, but they still have it. They still have a subscription rental system. But if you want to, you can just buy the system outright, and you won't have to pay every year to use the software again, unless you want technical support, and then you may have to pay a yearly subscription fee for the tech support. So that kind of ruined my video, I guess. And so I've downloaded the trial of IPi Soft version 4. I've been playing with it for a few days just to kind of see if the results are any different from version 3 as far as quality. Some of the features that I know that they have is they have somewhat of a live recording now, where real-time tracking, where you can track with one camera. And I was reading the forums, like some people had a little bit of a gripe with that, of why they couldn't do a live tracking with 2 cameras instead of just 1. But if you think about it, if you're using the Kinect One, you can only have one Kinect attached to your computer at a time to record anything. So it really couldn't pull from both cameras to do a live recording. I may demo that feature as well while I still have my month trial, but I have to see about that. But I'm not sure why, since you could hook up 2 Kinect 360s to one computer, why you couldn't do a live preview recording with 2 Kinect 360s. But they are working on that, and they're hoping to have that done by the end of this year, I believe. So with their new license, perpetual license, permanent license, you can get the basic version for $6.95, and it's yours forever. Or you can rent it for 1 year for $3.45, or you can rent it for 3 months for $165. Me personally, since I already have the HTC Vive and I'm using motion capture through that, I'm not sure if I will be renting or buying IPi Soft. I don't know. It depends on my needs. With IPi Soft and the Kinects, it can be more flexible as far as where you take it and setup time. With the HTC Vive and the controllers and the base stations, you have to. It's kind of a good idea to have it set up in a pretty standard location where you don't move it every day. I mean, you can move it if you want to, but so far in my testings, maybe not, maybe just my perception of the HTC Vive right now, but setup time is a lot faster with IPi Soft if you're using the Kinects. If you're using the PlayStation Eyes, then it's a pretty long setup, and I pretty much rather stick with HTC Vive. But with their software, they have the free 30-day trial, which is basically the same as the basic version, except for it's free for 30 days. They have the Express version where you can just buy it. There's no rental for the Express version where you pay $195, and basically you just have one Kinect camera. You can't use any of the PlayStation Eyes. They also have a new feature where you can use action cameras instead of using your PlayStation eyes to record for motion capture. You don't have that option with the Express version. The basic version, $695 to own the software, $345 again to rent it for a year, and $165 for 3 months. And in this version, you can use up to 2 Kinects, either the 360 or the Kinect 1, and you can use up to 6 RGB cameras, whether that's the PlayStation eyes or any kind of action cameras such as GoPros. The Pro version is $19.95 for unlimited license, $9.95 for a year, and $4.95 for 3 months. This, I think you can get up to 4 Kinect cameras and up to 16 RGB cameras. And then they had the biometric add-ons and automatic add-ons and such natures, which I don't really know if of any purpose that would be for motion capture. So I guess that's pretty much it for IPi Soft now. I guess the next part of the video the next part of the video is where I will be actually testing out version 4. I think in this video I will use 2 Kinect 1s. I have Kinect 360s. I may compare the quality between those two, but I'm not sure if I'll do that or not. But my first test is going to be with 2 Kinect 1s. I may or may not use the live recording to see how that goes. But if with this new pricing, it kind of may turn off a few people if they want to go the HTC Vive route. For this software, it's $695 for just a basic version for 2 cameras, and it can only record 1 person at a time. But the Pro version, I forgot to mention that you can use you can record multiple people at the same time. So with Kinect Orion, it was $500 a year. You could not buy the software outright. So you can either pay $500 a year for Orion, or you can pay $695 for IPi Soft and never have to pay anything again. Plus the HTC Vive right now costs maybe $400 or $500. So the HTC Vive, the original, now costs $499, brand new. And that pretty much comes with the version 1 of the base station, 2 controllers, and the headset. Plus you would have to buy trackers to do the full body motion capture. And for the Vive trackers, I believe they are $100 a piece just for the tracker itself. They also come with some accessories like the reality straps and some rackets and some other things of that nature. So it can get kind of pricey. And plus, I'm not sure if Kinect has updated their software or not to include support for the Vive Pro, but just the headset itself is $799. It is compatible with the original HTC Vive. And then for the new headset, like the new controllers, the new headset, the new base station, I believe that's like $1,400. So if you go like on Amazon, it shows that the HTC Vive Pro is $1,399 for the hardware itself. Plus you have to pay $500 a year for Kinect. Plus you have to spend another $100 per tracker for the HTC Vive trackers. That's starting to get really expensive for a low budget solution. With IPi Soft, on the other hand, you can start with $695 just to own the license, and you can buy some Kinect 1s if you can find them off of eBay. So you can go off of eBay and maybe find a Kinect 1, a used one for $49.50 to $90. Plus you have to buy the adapter for the Kinect 1, which would be, I guess, $50 to $100 depending on where you get it, because I believe Microsoft stopped making them. But if you think about it, if you ended up going the used parts route for IPi Soft, you could do the same thing with the HTC Vive. You can go to some secondhand off store to get a used HTC Vive, maybe GameStop or Best Buy if they have a open box. I believe when I got my HTC Vive, I got it used for $350. At the time of when I purchased the HTC Vive, they didn't drop the price of $499, so it was still $799 at the time that I bought it. So maybe you can get a used one for cheaper than $350. Maybe check Facebook Live or even maybe on eBay. So you can even check eBay, and from what I'm seeing right now, eBay really isn't showing good pricing for the HTC Vive used. So you may end up having to pay the full price of $499 for the headset and the controllers and $100 each for each tracker. For my setup with the HTC Vive, I have the Vive itself, the original $499, which I paid $350 for. Plus I bought 4 of these trackers, which was another $400. So that was a total of $750. Plus, if you want, that's $750 for the hardware compared to using a Pro, which is outrageous for anyone that's just outrageous. You might as well go with, for that price, you might as well go with Perception Neuron. I believe their price is around the same as the HTC Vive if you're using it for motion capture, and compared to $13.99 just for controllers and a headset. With Perception Neuron, you can get 32 trackers for $1,500. But the thing is, they are in a foreign country, so you will have to wait a longer time for shipment as it goes through customs and things of that nature. Plus, you may have to pay an import tax, so it can get kind of expensive too. But back to the Kinect and IPi Soft, you can get 2 Kinect Ones for maybe $50-$60 plus an adapter for an extra $100 each. So that's $320 plus $695 for the basic software of IPi Soft. Plus you would need some tripods. Now these tripods up here, $150, $227 is way too expensive. I believe this is the one I probably picked up for $23, $24. So you can get 2 of those. So that's, if you round up to $25, that's $50 for the tripods. $50 each for each Kinect. $100 for each adapter. So that's $350 for the hardware plus $695 for the software. That's $1045 that you end up paying to use IPi Soft if you don't already have a Kinect. If you already have a Kinect, if you already have the tripods, and the only thing you're buying is the software, $695 is not bad. But there are limitations to IPi Soft. One of the limitations is head, hand, and foot tracking. They're not the best when using the Kinect. I believe if you want a better hand and head tracking, you would have to get a motion controller such as the Wii remotes or the PlayStation ones. So you can get the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 ones. You can probably get those for $23 off of eBay. You may be able to get them cheaper at a game store such as GameStop or maybe even Amazon. So off of Amazon, it looks like they're $50 for just one controller. You can probably find a deal on eBay where you can get 2 of them for $23. If you go to buy now, you can probably get them mixed in with some games, maybe 1 or 2. I'm not really seeing anything on eBay that much. So maybe $25 to $50 for each controller. So that takes your total. I think that takes your total pricing up to, if you go $50 on the high end for the controller, that takes it up to $1145. because IPi Soft can only do 2 controllers at a time, I believe. And so you can either put each controller on your hand, on your left and right hand, or you can do one for your head, or you can go with the Wii remote, and you could probably get that for around the same price of $34, $30, $33. So they probably come around the same price as the PlayStation ones. I believe the PlayStation controllers have had a little bit of an issue with IPi Soft, where some models do not have some type of hardware that's built into it for good rotation. So that's an issue there. So basically, either you have to buy controllers, or you have to end up hand keying the head and hand motions. So if you go the controller route, I don't have any controllers, so I'm gonna leave the controllers part out of the price, out of your total price. So you would end up with $1045, I think I said before. And I believe with the HTC Vive, not including the Pro, if you get at least 4 trackers is what I'm starting off with. The HTC Vive for $500, so there's up to 9. You buy you buy 2 tripods for the base stations, or unless you're planning on mounting them on a wall. They do come included with wall mounts, so you can drill it into the wall, and it can be in a permanent location. But if you plan on moving it anywhere, like right now I'm using mine in the garage, and depending on whenever my family wants to move the car in the garage, or whatever family events we may be having, or whatever the situation may be, I move locations, take it to an actual studio. I would like to put them on actual tripods. So again, for 2 more tripods at $25 each, plus $900 for the hardware, that's $950. And for my motion capture, I pretty much just went ahead and paid for Brekel. I also purchased the Vive mocap kit from the Unreal Engine, and that's $139.99 for that software. And I believe Brekel is also $139. So the difference between Brekel and the Vive mocap kit is basically the Vive mocap kit has an actual character. It has a humanoid figure that you can use. Also, you can use custom characters, but it's a big of a hassle to set up. If you're not familiar with Unreal, which I am not, I'd never used the Unreal Engine before until buying this, it can be a little bit of a headache from the beginning. But once you figure out how to use it, it's pretty simple. If you just want to use the basic humanoid that comes with the Vive mocap kit, you can just pretty much just turn on the HTC Vive, attach your trackers, calibrate, and go ahead. But if you want to put a custom character on, you have to do a whole bunch of mapping and retargeting and a whole bunch of other stuff. With Brekel Openvr, again, only thing you get is the tracker location. There's no skeleton information. There's no motion transfer, nothing like that. And I like this because it gives me the opportunity to use my trackers for more than just motion capture on myself. If I want to use like objects or weapons in a fight scene, I can attach a tracker to a stick and use that to track the motions of the sword instead of just my hand, in case I do some kind of fast motion that goes away from my hand, like picking up a cup, turning the steering wheel of a car. Basically, I have a lot more freedom with what I can do with my trackers with using Brekel than using the Vive mocap kit. At the same time, it's pretty much the only reason I bought the Vive mocap kit is for I can put custom characters in there, and I can actually be in a virtual world as a character that I actually modeled and created. And so that's pretty much the only reason I use it. I'm not sure if I would actually use it for mocap, depending on what kind of output I get from that. I'm not sure if I would do a video on Vive Mocap Kit. Depends on how much time I actually have. So that's it for today. This may have been a little bit of a long video. I'm not sure if I would include the IPi Soft demo on top of this video, or if the IPi Soft video would be a second video after this. But thank you for making it to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Please comment below, like, subscribe, as much as people like to say that kind of thing. And thank you again.